Hi, my name is Jacob Kutsira, and welcome to the assignment for week 4, coaching skills and techniques, where I'll be discussing the importance of leadership in addressing and dealing with coaching skills in an effort to motivate employees to work harder and to be able to be um, productive even within difficult circumstances. Coaching skills and techniques, the introduction. The case study we looked at was discussing Commercial Uniform International. That's a well known company that produces uniforms, products for car rentals, banks, and hotels. The company plays an essential role in these industries, and drivers, especially van drivers, they play a very essential role in delivering some of these products and services to different companies, banks, hotels, and even rental car agencies. The manager, Derek, had an essential role in managing both office staff but also dealing with product deliveries. So it means directly he worked with the van drivers. um, the van drivers had issues related to salaries, which was like a flat rate situation. A business was getting low, and it was the manager's goal or the manager's responsibility to provide the needed support and encouragement so that the van drivers can be motivated, even though there was no opportunities for an increase in salary. The manager had to really be creative around coaching skills and techniques so that they can provide support for the drivers. Derek is encouraging the van drivers to charge up and be able to work harder, even if there's no room for bonuses and raises soon. It's still the goal for the manager to still provide that motivation so that people can be motivated to work regardless of the situation and even the financial challenges that the company was facing. Derek must find ways to motivate the van drivers even during these difficult times. And one of the leaders, Madson, had really encouraged really involving strategic goals of even recognizing and praising the drivers as an effort to provide some motivation. Sometimes it's not just money, just that motivation and support and recognition plays an essential role in coaching and in providing support. The encouragement that came to him was he should send emails to drivers, as well as communication via the company internet so that they can be supported and feel really that they are not alone through this process. And I think that was a very essential part of a leader to be able to communicate with your staff, especially when they're going through a difficult time through email and other different ways of communication. I personally recommend that Derek really involves coaching techniques and skills to inspire and provide support for the drivers. When there's a crisis, that's when leaders step up and they provide the needed leadership. And in this case, my recommendation really is to provide coaching techniques that are essential to help drivers and even just general employees to have that desire to continue working regardless of the challenges they're facing. So, in this slide, I'll discuss some of the coaching techniques that I'm recommending to this company, that I'm recommending to Derek as well, to be able to support the drivers. The first one is communication and clear expectations. It is essential, really, for leaders to be able to start coaching people. But part of the relationship has to do with clear communication and expectations. When people know what they're expected to do, the expected outcome, and how it's going to impact the company and themselves, people usually do well in terms of dealing with challenges or even work goals as well. Coaching and technique skills are essential to help the van drivers to be motivated and encouraged. It is the role of a leader to provide good coaching. Leaders need to communicate clear expectations to the employees and define issues clearly. Sometimes there is a problem when people don't know what they're expected to do, especially when there's a crisis. In this context, business was getting low, there were financial issues, and employees have to know, like, what are we expected to do and what issues are we dealing with. So that's a role of a leader, to define those and create an atmosphere of clarity, which is really helpful for businesses. The leader's role is to explain the goal and reason for providing coaching and motivation. So sometimes it's important to be able to say, hey, this is what we're dealing with. We have a crisis with the van drivers, in terms of the work being low, but also financial issues. But what is the goal? The goal is to be able to encourage each other to still be productive within these circumstances, and finding other ways to get that recognition and gratitude, so that the employees are very motivated to continue working. Coaching works better when it is attached to a goal and an outcome. When employees know what goals they are moving towards and what outcomes they're hoping to achieve, it becomes really a huge motivator, because then you are expecting to reach a goal, and there's a sense of accomplishment when people reach that goal, regardless of what's happening around. So it's very important to have a goal and outcomes when we're dealing with coaching and encouraging employees within a difficult situation. A leader should set clear expectations. This is very essential to help people to know how to handle situations, but also just to help them to know, even to review and see if they've achieved the goals, or if they've really done well. So when you know the expectation, when you meet it, and then there's that excitement. So it's very essential to be able to do that, even as a manager, to provide that support. Relationship building. This is a very essential part of leadership coaching. A leader is able to influence people when we provide leadership uh, by building relationships. A coach and a leader should build rapport to ensure successful coaching outcomes. It is essential to offer emotional support and active listening by building rapport and active listening. So relationships has to do with building that trust between a leader and the employees, so that there's effective relationship building that ensures that no matter what happens, people can come back and whether share their complaints or their feedback, which helps leadership to make essential decisions. So part of the coaching process is we build relationships with the employees in an effort to motivate them to continue working hard and develop their skills and things that they have to deal with in terms of achieving their goals and expected outcomes. Giving feedback. It is essential for leaders and coaches to have opportunities to give feedback to employees, especially during difficult circumstances. Like in that company we're talking about, the van drivers, it would be essential to go back with some feedback, whether good or bad, to help clear some confusion, but also to just help people understand that there are things they're doing well and there are things they need to improve in. Essential coaching and leadership motivation involves opportunities for feedback and review. So we are able to have that moment where essential questions are asked so that we can gather feedback. We give feedback, but we also receive feedback. That's very essential for dealing with crisis within a business setting. Constructive feedback is essential to help employees understand where they are doing well and where they can have skill improvements to be able to do better. And we create strategies, from those feedback, so we can avoid problems in the future. Active listening, it is essential. This is one of a very important part of leadership skills and coaching, in an effort to influence people to work and to do better. People want to know that they can have somebody listen to them when they've got concerns, when they've got issues. Listening, it's not really just waiting to respond, it's actually finding time to listen to the concerns and the issues that employees have, so that we can create an atmosphere of clear communication and understanding where our employees are. Listening involves asking clarifying questions to help understand the employee's position and challenges. Sometimes it's not just listening, it's actually asking people where they are at so that they can share and clarify some of the issues that may not be clear. That's a very essential part of leadership, and it is essential to be able to provide that active listening as a mentor, leader, and coach. Help with obstacles. It's important for a leader to be able to be helpful, and especially when you're dealing with uh, challenges, because sometimes individual employees have got personal obstacles or company goals obstacles, like areas where they are struggling. So it's an intentional strategy of a coach and a leader to say, how can I walk with you through these obstacles and how can we deal with them? It's not just helping them to avoid obstacles, but it's actually empowering them to be able to deal with their challenges. And that's a unique aspect of coaching, because people want to know that they can deal with practical challenges with the help of coaching, and that helps them to stay in their role and to do better. It really affects productivity positively because they know I'm not alone. My manager will help me through these obstacles. Emotional support and empathy. Sometimes working in situations can bring emotions and crisis, especially when it has to do with money, like with the drivers we're talking about, the van drivers. Money was at a flat rate, business was low. That can be emotionally draining and can be actually difficult because it affects their well being. It's important for a leader to connect both head and heart, being able to talk about programs and systems, but also talk about people's heart, their feelings, what they're going through, so you can provide empathy and leadership and guidance. So emotional support is essential, especially for leaders in mentorship and coaching. However, it is good for leaders to know that they are not psychologists, and so therefore there's room for referral when there are emotional issues that grow up to issues like serious depression and other problems. I would recommend that leaders refer these serious cases to professionals that are in the mental health setting. So that's part of leadership, being able to make referrals and be able to support our employees emotionally, and just having that empathy. It goes a long way in a crisis. Conclusion: leaders and managers need to involve employee participation when coaching and motivating employees. It's not just a leader saying everything, but actually engagement, involving people that are going through crisis. Like in this case, the drivers, the van drivers. It's essential that Derek, the manager, involves some of these drivers in some of these coaching strategies so that they can be motivated to even work harder and be productive. So it's a very essential part of coaching, being able to integrate the wisdom of management with the contributions of employees and the staff. Employee engagement in decision making and giving feedback are usually committed to the company's goals and outcome. So the employees who are engaged and those who give feedback, they are usually committed to the outcomes of the company goals. So when they feel involved, then they fully participate. It is essential to give the subordinate opportunities to take ownership of their challenges and opportunities. Part of good coaching in situations of crisis is to allow employees to be involved in the decision making, but also being allowed to participate in some of these challenges. And so this was my presentation. Again, my name is Jacob Kutsira. I was presenting on coaching techniques within difficult situations, and the example had to do with the van drivers that needed motivation during a difficult time. Thank you.